Hey YouTube, this is Josh here, and just to let you know, this is my first ever YouTube video. So just putting that out there, so just in case it's not, up to perfection, I'm kind of nervous about this. So just give me some space, and yeah. So well, basically, on my first video, I'm going to talk about Asperger's, and I'm going to talk about how it's affecting me in the obsession area, I guess. So yeah, with people with Asperger's, I'm gonna go over what Asperger's is at first. Asperger's is it's a form of ASD, autism spectrum disorder, but I don't like to call it a disorder. I like to call it an ability, ASSA, autism spectrum special abilities, because that's really what it does. I mean, like a lot of people in history, Albert Albert Einstein. Yeah, Albert Einstein. He was crazy. Like, he had it, and his math part in his head was 30% bigger than the average person. So yeah. So basically, that's just my take on it, and it's just it's just a special ability. So for me, I'm gonna go over an aspect of it called like the obsession aspect. Like, people that with Asperger's, like, we tend to obsess over things that other people might think were kind of weird in a way, but I'm not really sure. I've never asked somebody that, so just bear with me. So as you can see, I'm kind of nervous. So I'm my first YouTube video. So yeah. So when I was a kid, I used to be obsessed with a number of topics. I used to be obsessed with grizzly bears. I used to be obsessed, and I still kind of am obsessed with the Titanic, the RMS Titanic, which sunk in April 15th, 1912. It was a 60,000 ton sea vessel. Like, it was a steamer, so it was very heavy. So 60,000 tons. So that and my obsession I'm kind of going through right now. I'm kind of going through an obsession with tanks, battle tanks. You got it. Yep. So yeah, just going through that. And so basically, how these obsessions work is how, like, I get on one subject, like, i.e. the Titanic, on I have to get, like, how it affects me is I have to get every single principle, one, two, three, four, five, all the way up to everything, how it works, how everything works on the ship, how, like, or tanks, how everything works on, like, the engine, how the left or right side of the track locks up so it can turn either left or right, how the turret can turn, and how the gun is loaded and fired, or in the case of the Titanic, how the coal is put into the firebox, which also heats the boiler. That and so, anyways, it makes, and basically, the long end of the short of it, or the short end of the long of it. I'm not really too sure about that term. I'm kind of trying to coin it right now. So basically, with obsessions, for me, basically, when I get obsessed on something, I have to figure out how it works right down to the last bolt, or right down to the nitty gritty stuff. Like, if, like, take for instance, this pepper grinder. Like, if I was ever obsessed with this little thing, I would have to figure out how it works, and how like the angles and everything are in there, because because even something like this is quite complex. Like, it's not as complex as, like, say, a steamliner or a tank, but it is still kind of complex in a way. You gotta put your mind to it in a weird way. So in a way, Asperger's syndrome affects me, like, for obsession wise. Like, I need to figure out every little nitty gritty piece of detail on that subject, and then after that I get obsessed with it. And also, I like to design them. Like, I like to design boats sometimes. I like to design tanks. Here, I'll show you some. Alright, I don't know if you can see this well, but here's a couple of them anyways. I'll show you some more sometime soon. But if you can see them, they're right there. That one needs a little bit of work, but this one, yeah, they all need a little bit of work, so bear in mind these ones are not my best designs, but I will show you later on some of my really good ones. And this one, if you look down here, that little dot right down there, that would be a human compared to one of my machines that I've designed. So obviously this tank would be close to 160 or 200 feet long. I can't remember what it was, so don't take my word for it. So I know it's almost 200 feet long, so very large. So for obsessions wise, they just kind of like, I just kind of obsess over things. So if you see somebody, if you ever meet anybody with Asperger's syndrome, don't try to condemn them. Like if they're like talking to you over and over about a certain thing that you don't really want to talk about, don't get mad at them and turn them off, and just try to get them to totally go away from it right away. Because I've had people that try to do that to me when I get obsessed on something, and it just kind of it makes it, well, when I learn something, I have to tell it to somebody. I have to, like, when I learn something about a certain thing or a certain module in a vehicle or a ship, or how something works, or even a key element in one item's history, I have to tell it to somebody. I have to. It's like instinct. It's like, have to tell it to somebody, make that fact known out there, I guess. So I'm kind of like, so if you have any, if you know anybody with Asperger's out there, don't try to condemn them and just start yelling at them, because it really hurts them inside. When their voices aren't really being heard, and they're not really making that conversation that they really want to make. So next time, if somebody has Asperger's, and if you know, well, first of all, if you know anybody who has Asperger's first, just and is obsessing over something, instead of let's say, like, wanting to have nothing to do with the person, with either the person or the conversation or the topic they're trying to talk about, just take in mind that they are kind of different than you, and they are like, you just gotta have to find a way to make conversation about that topic that he or she is talking to you about. So just don't condemn, or just don't shove off, because if that person wants to tell you something, they're gonna get it off their chest whether you like it or not, and just don't try to, just take it easy with them. Don't like shove them off. Like, that's no good. That's confrontation, and that just actually ain't nobody got time for that, really. So just take it easy, and just accept them for who they are, and just be totally cool, and just say, hey man, I don't really like talking about like these things, but because you're my friend, like, just because you're my friend, just like, I'll talk to you about it maybe once every week. We'll have a sit down, we'll have a talk about this. I'll maybe do some research too, and so that I can get learn about this stuff. So just don't just shove off opportunities to actually maybe help somebody who might have Asperger's, and who actually does. If you know someone who has Asperger's, just don't think of them as totally like, get away from me. Just don't do that. It doesn't work out too good. It just doesn't work too good at all. Like, trust me, I've been like I've been there. Well, with me being the Asperger, that's a term for people. One term for people who have Aspergers. I'm not sure about the other, but I know that term Aspie, Aspie. So just yeah, just next time you meet someone with Asperger's, or if you have a friend with Asperger's, don't try to shove them off, and just accept them for who they are, and just like have a sit down talk, take them out for coffee, or you know yeah, just have coffee or whatever they like. Just hang out with them and be cool, because some people with Asperger's are really good guys and girls to get to know. Like, it's awesome. So yeah, all right. So I'm gonna wrap this up now. So I guess this is goodbye. I mean, this is my first YouTube video, so I don't really know how to wrap things up. So bear with me in mind. Okay, all right. See you guys. Enjoy these videos, these next videos to come, because it's gonna be a good one.